Yeah, on that 9/11. Thank you for your
911 on the DOT. Go ahead, brother Rich. Open us up.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, get comfortable, family. Load into the room. Hit that like button. Tell your friends and family we are now live. We're gonna have a good time tonight. We always have a good time when this brother's on here. We learn and we enjoy the process of learning, and that's what it's all about. Yeah, hit that like button. Let's let me get this done real quick while y'all load up in here and get comfortable. Y'all get your tea and your whatever it is y'all engage in. You know, let me do this real quick. All right. So before we start the show, family, once again, I want to remind everybody is going down August 10th and 11th. I'm going to be sending out another link for our community chat. We got a Discord community chat going on for everybody who bought tickets. I sent the link out 2 days ago. I will send another link out late tonight. The link to purchase the ticket is in the description. I'm about to put it in the chat. But I mean, at this point, this is just a straight up cosmic movie. This is a cosmic event. Rod Hayes talked about the Muhurta, or I forgot how you pronounce it. How you pronounce that, Rod?
You said it right.
He talked about the Muhurta. I think it was in January. Man, family, I don't know what this is called, but this is something. When the stars are aligned like this, and like I said, this is beyond me. But I'm thankful to be the vessel to have brought all of these stars in the building on one weekend. I don't think we've ever seen anything of this magnitude. It's going to be magnificent, family. I want y'all to get your tickets. Click on that link, all right? And with that being said, I want to bring to the platform once again none other than Rod Hayes, the chief. The chief. What's good, Rod?
What's going on, brother Rich?
Oh yeah, no, everything's good, man. Everything's good. I'm taking it a day at a time. You know what I'm saying? How's everything been with you?
Man, watching this show play out.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, this show is definitely playing out. Did you get a chance to see Kendrick Lamar's performance last night?
Oh, yes, I did. You see
Yeah,
how they had all of those different sets up there together in unity. Remember, I told you that was gonna
yep.
happen.
I thought about you. That's why I brought it up. That's why I said, damn, Ryan was talking about this shit. He was like, oh man. So
That's
tell me
the,
about that. Tell me
this
about that.
look. This the 9/11 of the show right here. This to bring them down, bring them towers down. I'm
Whew.
tower number 7. So look,
Yeah.
in the West Coast, they follow the oral tradition hard.
Uh-huh.
So the OGs gotta okay certain moves before the YGs move.
Right.
So we've been talking to OGs. Um, we've been using different OGs from the block that know what's going on to go talk to the other OGs and tell them how the enemy tricked us, turned us against each other, sicked us on each other like ravenous pit bulls. And we've been fighting each other, believing what the enemy misled us into doing. And it's been a shock to the conscience of a lot of the young brothers that have been putting in work.
Mm.
So when they start realizing how the trick was ran on us, the kind game, to turn us against each other, they didn't want no more parts of killing us because we need each other to fight them off.
Right, right.
See, so now the OGs and the YGs out west, they saying it's on, it's ready, we ready. And if you don't know how the West Coast ride, don't go out there and F around and find out. They not playing. They dead serious. Do not finna come with the like. We caught them in the Rodney King riots. Police dressing up like gangbangers to start the wars back up to keep us fighting each other. We caught them. It is not a secret, right? So now we able to produce enough evidence to walk the youngsters through what's been going on to turn us against each other, and they not buying it. They cut from a different cloth for a reason.
Right, right. Oh yeah.
So now Kendrick brought it to the public domain.
Mm-hmm.
They can't come out in the unity, the show of unity, and turn the unity key into all tribes understand the nature of the return.
Mhm.
in the
Mhm.
restoration of the clans across the land.
Mhm.
When the West Coast came out with that show of unity, that was a message to the Midwest and to the East and the Southeast and to the South.
Mhm.
Y'all ready? We ready.
Mhm. Mm.
If you go back and listen to what Kendrick said, he said, we unified now, we ready.
Oh yeah.
What they ready for?
Man. That was a beautiful thing to see right there, Ryan.
That was a monumental milestone for us as a unified front against the colonizers.
Yeah. And it's funny, the person he's battling against, he's
So even if Drake just being the fall guy, he playing the part in order for us to pay attention to the stellar alignment so we could see what spirit is moving humans to do on Earth.
Indeed.
You know, so somebody had to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
So Drake took on the bad guy.
He took on that role.
Well, because Kendrick had to be the good guy. He had to be the one, the knight in shining armor that comes through and slays the dragon for the princess.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the princess?
Just about to ask that. Who's the princess?
He said, we ain't been right since who died?
Who he said?
He said Nipsey and he said Kobe.
Right.
All right. And the princess is Laura London. Because Laura London was the one who was riding a white horse in the photographs with Nipsey. So in order for Nipsey legacy to be solidified, one of his brethren had to stand up in order to solidify the legacy by confirmation. They reenacting an ancient story called it's called the Holy Drama. It's the story of the prince rising to power in the Osirian resurrection. Right. So when you see it play out in one genre, it's playing out somewhere else too. It's playing out in the political arena with different characters using the different format, but it's the same story being told. They finally starting to leak the fact that this Joe Biden stuff is deep fake on the mainstream news. And we've been talking about it, 3 years on your show?
Yeah. No, definitely. About 3.
So now they just not starting to leak it out. What make them start leaking it now? At the same time, they showing this LA unity.
Right.
In the mainstream media, this is they setting the stage for the grand finale. Bring down the towers. You know the CIA code name for the Twin Towers was called the Gemini Project.
No, damn, bro, you going in there.
Look, it's called the Gemini Project. It was set for September 11th, but it's really 7/11 because Sep means 7. Right? So we got the unknown tower is tower number 7. That didn't get hit by a plane, but it still fell. Right? So in the midst of what looked like 2 towers falling, you seeing 2 towers rising. So you're looking at a political move and a entertainment move that's parallel in the movements of the tribes. Following the what they call the Gemini Code. I think it was a movie called The Gemini Man.
It was, yeah.
And it was some futuristic shit, right? It was something about some futuristic stuff. We in the future now from where we was when we was babies. We've arrived in the future of the child that was born when we was babies. We adults now. We didn't arrive in the future as babies, though. We rose into the future as adults. We got here. The future is when the new age begins. It's on the flip side of the Maherta, but who's going to see the Maherta when it's coming and who going to sound the alarm and let the people know? Because that's between 2 pillars. Right? So it opens up a gateway to the center of the universe for Prime Creator to send source codes in to be filtered through the women using the Schumann resonance and the solar flares. And the answers coming in the UV in order to adjust the genetics of the child, because the prayers of the women is answered through the womb.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when the child becomes next generation, these babies born now, they're going to be on a whole nother level from the babies who was born as we grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they got a different function. We're going into a golden age, but we first have to get the warriors to still keep the warrior mentality, but be willing to work the farm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know how to defend the farm, so that when one of our farms is in danger, all of the farmers can mount up now, because we all farmers.
Right.
And you know what a male farmer called, right?
What?
A husband.
Mm.
So all these women looking for a husband, but they making business deals that don't got nothing to do with finding a husband or a mate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It got everything to do with merging two corporations together so you can be unified and exploited together. Let's go into this exploitation together so they can exploit us twice as hard for twice as long.
Mm.
You know, a license is a permission to do something that's illegal.
Mm.
Think about that for a minute. You need a marriage license to get married. Who is illegal to get married? When was it ever illegal for somebody to get married?
Mm-hmm.
So you need a license to get married, or it's not recognized. The tribes don't need license though. We get married by culture, right? My mama might take this chick's mama 15 blankets to represent 15 blankets of protection to turn something around off the union. It's political, it's spiritual. It don't got nothing to do with the government though. But it got everything to do with the people. So when they looking for a husband, they really looking for a farmer. That's why they kicked us all off our farms with sharecropping agreements.
Mm-hmm.
To make the men unfit to be a husband because they don't know how to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them boys on them country boys on the farm know how to do everything on the farm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can butcher the cattle, plant the crops, harvest the crops, repair the house, build a new barn. They know how to do it all. But a city slick only know what the people at the job taught him how to do at work.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he went to school and got a degree.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Damn, Rob, what you smoking today, man? You just went in for 15 minutes nonstop, man. What, that must be some good shit today, man.
Hey, look, you know me, I stay ready. I don't gotta get ready. It was just outformation time for the information that was being relayed.
Yeah. No,
The
fact.
question that you asked brought all that to the surface.
Speaking of farming and crops, and there's specific times that you got to do certain things when it comes to farming. We're talking about the cosmos, we're talking about a new age that's coming along. Rod, should we be using new clocks? Do you think eventually we're gonna have to implement new clocks as we enter this new golden age, Rod?
To control the way time is told is to control the way people experience time. So it will be up to the collective if they think that we need a new system of understanding time.
Mm-hmm.
And if the collective feel like the old structure of time is contradictory or counterproductive, then the scientist is going to come up with some miraculous discovery that alters the perception of time.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know this mathematical formula, but once we solved it, this happened with the time continuum.
Mm-hmm.
A new discovery, because the collective will demand it. But if it's fine that it's nothing wrong with the time continuum, but the management of time within the continuum, that requires the individual to learn how to be a better manager of his own time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then it wouldn't require us to change the clock. we might change calendars. More than likely, we would change calendars
Mm-hmm.
because when a new power or when a new government is established, they have to change the lines of demarcation, the names of what we call metropolises, what they call them capital cities, but they metropolises. All of the metropolises have to be renamed by the people of the land. They can either go back to an ancient name or come up with an entirely new name altogether. We already started doing it by nicknaming our city.
Explain
Um,
that. What you mean? What you mean?
they don't call Chicago Chicago. They call it Chirac,
Right. Okay.
right? They don't call Brooklyn Brooklyn. They call it the Boogie Down.
No, that's the Bronx. Boogie down. That's the
Oh yeah, the
Bronx.
Bronx. My bad. I get them mixed up sometimes because I ain't from New York.
Yeah.
But you close enough to know how to make the correction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, we do this tribally.
Mm-hmm.
The tribe from the area becomes dissatisfied with the definition that the city is living up to its name. So in order to change how the city is defined, the tribe start calling the city by a different name.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the nature of the culture,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like we don't just call Michigan Michigan, we call it the murder mitten,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
All of these is the tribes being dissatisfied with the current conditions, telling the hierarchy and the chiefdom, fix this problem right here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then we had to figure out, okay, well, who is right now controlling the state of Michigan under the name Michigan? We got to go find out who they is, and they gonna either explain to us who named it Michigan and why is it still got that name and why we not following none of the tribal names for the land,
Right.
right? And then when they don't have a sufficient answer, then the chiefs pull rank and well, we ain't gonna call it that no more.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was done by territory. But now, because we was colonized all the way from Canada to the bottom of South America and the islands, even the South Pacific, talking about the Hawaiian Islands, the Samoan Tonga, all of those islands, the colonizers didn't stop nowhere. So now everything had to be reclassified according to the wishes of the people that's from the area.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to continue to surrender their sovereignty and allow other people to control their destiny, then the closest nearing people who wants to control their destiny will gladly take on the responsibilities to and get rid of the colonizer.
Mm-hmm.
So that way that a tribe that don't want to take his tribal spot, you got a tribe that'll absorb them to make sure that they be able to live according to the tribal traditions of the great law.
Mm-hmm. Russ, speaking of the law, down here in this realm on this planet, in order to maintain order, we have something called arrest. You arrest somebody when they break the law because you're supposed to be trying to maintain order. Um, Speaking of the cosmos, and we're analyzing this as above, so below, is there such thing as cosmic arrest? If there's entities out there in the cosmos, is that an aspect that they experience cosmically like we experience on this realm?
You don't have to arrest nobody when you get out of the 3D.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
When the energy goes rogue in the 3D and the vessel that's carrying the rogue energy is informed of it, he's just going to go to the people that can help him correct the negative energy. But
Mm-hmm.
some of them so far gone that the energy had to be totally disrupted at source.
Oh,
When you
okay.
have to disrupt it at source, they call that splitting the soul because that soul would never reconstitute with that psychology ever again.
Yeah.
It's like it'll start over from scratch
Right.
as a new soul,
Right.
a blank slate.
Mm. Now, in terms of entities that may be what we call negative or um, low vibrational, What's the highest dimension they could go? Because I hear people talking about there's 11 dimensions. I hear different numbers for how many dimensions there are, but is there a certain like maybe they hang on the third, the fourth, or whatever? What's the highest dimension a low vibrational entity can go?
Well, they coming from the mirror lower realms, but
Mhm.
they can only ascend to about the realm of thought. That's fourth dimension mind matrix.
Fourth. Okay.
When
Okay.
you get to fifth dimension spirit matrix, if they ascend to that point, their whole constitution will rearrange and they will no longer be low vibrational beings.
Mm.
So that's what you call a great awakening,
Mhm.
right? So if the higher level being can go to the lower levels and maintain his constitution to a depth that's deeper
Mhm.
in lower vibration, then a low vibration being can ascend to heights beyond the fifth dimensional spirit realm,
Mhm. Mhm.
the which is actually soul matrix, where your essence is incorporated into your or paired with your mentality in order to have a higher consciousness in the physical.
Mhm. Mhm. How many dimensions are there, Rod?
Um, Dimensions are infinite,
Okay.
but from the three-dimensional matrix, the resonance can only go to the 19th dimension. Then it'll turn into something else and start over from there, similar to going back to the three dimensions starting over, but it being so high up,
Mhm.
this the closest we can do to explain it is to try to explain going from 19 back to third, start all over to ascend again.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right. And in the lodges it's called plumbing the depths to ascend to the heights.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, if you don't hit rock bottom, you can't ascend to the stars.
Right. Right.
Right. So a characteristic of somebody that you always know if they into masonry is when their life is no longer in their control, they just let it all go. Just let it
Right.
fall.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then they pick themselves up from their own ashes and take the lessons they learned to build a better life.
When you study the information in the lodges and you see what's online, do you think everything that the secret societies had access to is online right now? Or do you think that there's mad shit that the Knights Templar, the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians have that still ain't hit the internet yet?
Well, they call secret societies, but the more accurate term would be a society with secrets.
Hmm.
And it's just like your local church, and the preachers are sleeping with all the sisters in the congregation. Everybody know it, but ain't nobody saying that. That's called an open secret.
Right, right, right.
Now everybody know he's sleeping with the choir director. He's sleeping with the lady that take up the collection. He's sleeping with the lady that's running the usher board. Everybody in the church know it, but it won't nobody say nothing about it. It's an open secret. It's the same with those secret societies. Some of the stuff that they be doing, we know they doing it but won't nobody speak on it. And everybody is complicit in holding the secret. And that's how they make us all be co-conspirators in their dirt.
Hmm. Hmm. I've heard you and Billy Carson talk about the Anunnaki and us living to be them messing with our DNA and I guess putting a limit on how long we could live at this time, putting a cap on the I forgot exactly how he says it.
They cut back the telomeres on the
Right.
on
Tell
the
him, yeah.
chromosomes.
In in ancient times, I've heard about people living hundreds, thousands. What do you think is like what was the longest you think we was living in antiquity? Like was it beings that live hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands? Like
We eternal beings. The
and what
physical body is all it is an animated meat suit. It's just like a suit you go get from Brooks Brothers.
Mhm.
The only difference is your mama had to knit it in her womb in order to sow your essence into it for you to be able to use it, or it won't fit you. It'll come out defective. They call it a birth defect.
Mm.
If she make a mistake in the weaving in the womb, we have birth defects. And sometimes you got birth defects because the people that's coming in is so powerful, she don't know how to weave the suit correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So to keep the power from causing too much disruption in the reality around, she give it a broken vessel. Because they just want to experience this 3D stuff, the pain and they just want to be here to revel in the energy, but they come in that broken vessel because if they come in whole like us, they might come in too powerful for all of the systems that make the system work. And I'm
Right.
not talking about government systems. I'm talking about the systems of creation,
Mm-hmm.
the balancing of the energies in the families of the humans.
Uh-huh. You just said we're eternal beings, and when you look at a lot of the movies, Rod, the beings that never die, they be miserable. They hate that shit. It's misery to live forever. They wish they could die. Some of the movies, I think I was watching True Blood, they was trying to do shit just to die. So it's like, is that like almost like a curse to be an eternal being? Because that shit is that
Listen,
like pure
listen.
boredom or something? You know what I mean?
That's an eternal being that's used in 3D reality, but it's not an eternal being living in the eternal realm.
Mm,
In the eternal realm, you don't got no emotions. You don't feel no pain.
mm,
You need a physical body because the emotions is the spirit's navigation system for the 3D body,
mm,
right? The pain response is that's your warning system that something is wrong with the vessel that you navigate. You don't
mm,
have pain and suffering in the spirit realm because it's part of the wiring of the human experience.
mm,
That's why they keep playing these cycles, these games and cycles. Because what do you do for eternity? Would you, okay, now you done cut the grass, you done washed all the dishes,
mm,
you done cleaned up all the kids' rooms clean, you
mm,
sent them off to school, the bathroom clean, laundry done, and now you sitting there twiddling your thumbs for the rest of eternity because you done did everything before 9 a.m.
mm,
What do you do for eternity?
mm,
You create alternative forms of experience. In order for eternity to have meaning, you have to create something called finite. If you have infinite, the infinite being can only understand infinity by the observation of the finite being.
mm,
The being that dies, he don't know that he's just leaving the physical body while he dying. But once he gone, he like, ain't that a bitch? That was a hell of a game. I need to go play that again.
mm,
Let me jump back down here in a different meat suit. Let me see if I can find
mm,
one of my cousins or nieces that want to be my mother this time.
mm.
So we come back into the physical form, and Earth has been one of the most, the university Earth, because the experience teaches you in the end, your spiritual enlightenment comes when you find infinite balance, right? That means you got rid of all forms of entropy. I
Mhm,
mean, you conquered chaos. So
mhm.
now when you a star, you don't have to worry about going supernova.
Right, right, right. Wow.
So that's what we is. The consciousness of the human, that's our spirit form, is the same power as the neutron star. The mitochondria is the power source. It's the step down capacitor to allow it to be able to seep into the physical without spontaneous combustion.
Mhm,
But if somebody turned the mitochondria up too high and the vessel have it developed where it can facilitate the rapid transfer of spirit to physical energy, it's going to spontaneously combust, and you'll have a bunch of scientists talking about, why did that happen?
Mm, mm. Got you. Got you. Wow. So let me ask you this, Rod. So if infinite intelligence is using finite beings to understand itself, what we do with the finite, what the finite beings do, since we have this forgetfulness, we pray to what we call God for answers. Now, if we pray to what we call God for answers, Rod, does God pray to us for questions to understand who it is? Like, is it like a reverse thing? God needs questions and we need answers. So God is praying us for questions and we praying to God for answers. Is it something like that?
God don't ask questions because God don't need answers. That's
God don't
part
know
of your
though,
that's
right?
part of your physical reality. Q&A is part of being in the 3D realm.
Mhm,
Okay, so you're born, but you don't come with a manual. But
mhm,
yes, you do. It's called your book of life, but you don't remember how to read it because it's written in the elements around you.
mhm, mhm,
Your interpretation of the reality is how you read your book of life. The better you know yourself, the better you read your book of life. That's
mhm,
your operational manual.
mhm,
But
mhm,
you have to be self-aware. The sooner you self-aware, the more you can do to read your book of life and perform your functions better.
mhm,
But the 3D realm, we are holding everything from a 3D perspective in our mental states.
mhm,
We're not saying, how do God look at this situation? If I'm God, how would I see this? And it starts taking some of the suffering away because it starts to become humorous. And then you start to realize, I just cracked a joke on myself. I pulled a prank, a long drawn out prank on myself. Did nobody do it but me because I'm the only person that know me that well.
mhm,
Nobody else don't know me good enough to know that I'm going to look here and this is what I'm going to be looking for when I look here. I'm the
mhm,
only one know me that good, so I must have hid it here so I can find it later,
mhm, mhm, mhm,
right? And then this is how you picking out your sentences and your
mhm,
word selection that writes your book of life.
mhm.
You had to know yourself enough to know that you left yourself clues.
Right.
You left yourself clues into the exhuming of the self. Now, all you trying to remember is how to find the clue.
Mhm,
But we lost track of that because they took them all into the secret society, the sciences of how to read the clues at
mhm.
birth.
Right.
They don't tell us about naming ceremonies and asking the baby their name over and over every day until they tell you where you can hear a
Mhm.
clear and coherent name.
So we're not
It
supposed to name.
normally take 9 months and the baby will say a name. That's their
Okay.
name.
Okay. Okay.
But normally, that's an old tribal tradition. The
Mhm,
old ladies sit around talking about, don't you mark that child, right? Don't talk bad about people because while you pregnant, because you going to mark the child to come out with that negative trait,
mhm, mhm,
right? But if you can mark your child with positive traits the same way,
mhm,
right? So the elder women in our community, they've been talking about it in our face the whole time, but we didn't know what they was talking about.
mhm.
They was giving us clues because one day we gonna get it all. We gonna have a big old bag of puzzle pieces, and then we gonna say, "Well, let me put this puzzle together and see what it look like."
Right. Right. Right.
And that's when the humor of the universe hit you right in your solar plexus, and all your pain and suffering was a harsh practical joke that you played on yourself because you was the only person that knew you well enough on how to play that practical joke on yourself while you was playing human
Mhm,
to snap you out of this out of the slumber.
mhm, mhm. Yeah. Ain't that son? Ain't that some shit, Rod? Wow. Mm. Th-
We all
th-
in on our part. Look, all of the stuff we go through in our lifetime, we know it before we take on the life.
Right. Right.
Before we come, but we forget
Yeah.
because we have to mature enough to live the life as the adult. But the youth And the childhood is the training for what you're gonna be an adult. And if you forego parts of your training, you're gonna go back over it, back over it, back over it. And it's gonna come in a different form until you get the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody book a life like that. That's the backflip.
Right.
You ever hear somebody say, you monkey flipping? That's what they
Mm-hmm.
talking about. You keep back flipping over the lesson till you get it. Right? But the gurus, the shamans, the swamis, the yogis, the hayokas, they all sit in a room and review the life in meditation until they see where they was learning the lesson and say, oh, that's the lesson. I don't want to live that one no more. So let me mark that off the book so I won't go through that no more.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have a test gonna come up because you wrote the test and you the only one know you well enough to write the test to determine if you ready to live your best life. Can't nobody write your test but you. Can't nobody write your book but you.
Mm-hmm.
But you can let other people make you abandon your book to help them finish theirs.
Right.
That's called selling your soul.
Ooh. Ooh.
You abandon your book of life to build somebody else's book of life.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to go back and fulfill it, even if you have to reincarnate in a different life. You're going to have to, because you made that promise to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the only promise you can't never break is the one you make to yourself, because you're going to find a way to always make sure you deliver.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The same as lying to yourself. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to always know you lying when you told that lie to yourself. So we sitting in church trying to force ourselves to believe something that we don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
Because the preacher said it. Who the hell is he?
Mm-hmm.
What make what he's saying out that book more valid than what I hear in my heart?
Mm-hmm.
But they tell us to forego what we hear in our heart to follow what that man told us was in that book.
Mm-hmm.
They told me that book was the word of God and how powerful God was. I said, then you shouldn't need to open that book to prove it's the word of God.
Mm-hmm.
Soon as they open it, I take them right to the part that say that anybody that testify themselves testify a lie. Because they finna take me to the part of the book that says that this is the book of God.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need to use the book of God to prove to me it's the book of God, it's not the book of God, it's a lie. Because anything that testify of itself testify of a lie. If
Damn
you
right.
can't show who you is in the world around you, it don't matter who you think you is on the world within. You haven't learned to express yourself yet openly. Therefore, you keep yourself in seclusion until you're ready to express yourself openly.
Mm-hmm.
That's called letting your light shine into the world. Everybody got something to offer, but the societies we live in forces us to forego what we have to offer to the world in order to accept what the world is trying to force upon us. That's the nature of the 3D, because you have to have the opposites.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have the polar opposites, the twin pillars, severity and mercy, the stressor and the buffer, in order to learn the lessons of life. And you take a roller coaster ride while you learning.
Mm. Mm. Let me ask you this, Rod. Does we talking about life and what we call death? Does being cremated versus
Hey,
being
hold on, brother Rich. I'm having some technical problems. Hold on.
okay? Okay. All right. Let's oh, shout out to everybody. Wow, man. Rod is going in, right? Rod is going in. He's gonna come back on. He's having a few technical problems. Man, that dude there, man. I don't know what he all right, here we go. Rod, you hear me?
Yeah, that's better. That's way, way better.
Okay. All right. So Rod, speaking of life and what we call death, let's talk about cremation and being buried. Does that impact where you go? If we're talking about the afterlife, we're talking about different realms. Does that impact where you go or how long it takes you to get somewhere once you leave this realm? Does it have an impact on the afterlife?
No.
So it doesn't matter. Like you would recommend is it you like
So me, I tell people like this: I don't give a damn what you do with me when I'm dead.
mm,
You can put me in a box and drop me in the dirt. You can put me on here and let the vultures eat me. Either way, I wouldn't give a damn because I ain't in there to experience it,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
right? But the reason I say that is when you leave the body and you're going to get another meat suit.
mm-hmm. Mhm.
It might be 5 years in the future, it might be 5,000 years in the future. But
Mhm.
you're going to get another meat suit if you choose to come back to Earth.
Right.
Look, while we here, we kicking and screaming, we ain't never coming back to do this shit again until
Mm.
the next time we come back.
Oh, he said until the next
We
time.
we when you eternal being to live 50, 60, 120 years on Earth, it's like having recess in elementary school. You can't wait for the bell to ring.
Damn.
You get to come into the and experience stuff that's not part of the spirit realm.
Yeah.
The physical world is unique in that way. And it was created for that purpose because it was another expression of higher consciousness finding ways for spirit to have something to do for eternity.
Right. Right.
We don't just want to be a beam of light forever,
Right.
just float through the infinite darkness as a beam of light and
Yeah.
never stop. No, sometimes we want to take a pit stop,
Right.
right? We might want to go to the rest stop, grab a bag of chips. But when
Mm.
you a beam of light flying through darkness, you can't do none of that.
Mm.
You can't complain about nothing. You don't got nothing to complain about. Everything is just in a state of perfection in the spirit realm. So you need something that's imperfect in order to accelerate or enhance or accentuate your experience.
Mm.
So you come into the physical world blind, deaf, and dumb
Mm-hmm.
to determine if you can awaken in the slumber to your true self. We all know we're going to wake up to our true self at some point, and most of the time in our book of life, the point we wake up is 30 minutes after we so-called die.
Mm.
Because that's when we get to go over all of the joys and the pains, because ain't no joy and pain in the spirit realm. It's all information.
It's just information.
It's information. It's just light.
But Rod, isn't that kind of robotic? It almost the way you describe the spirit world, it almost seems kind of robotic. Robots don't have emotions. They don't experience joy, happiness, sadness. The spirit realm almost sound robotic, Rod. Talk
Because
to me.
robots is designed off the beings in the spirit realm.
Mm.
They're not
Mm.
designed after humans.
Mm.
They designed after the beings in the spirit realm. They data on Star Trek,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And they trying to figure out the dichotomy between Kurt and Spock.
Right. Damn.
The robot, look, artificial intelligence can only go to the fourth dimension and then it breaks down.
Mm.
That's why I would never be fearful of artificial intelligence ever becoming to a point where it can take over humanity.
That ain't
It can
happening.
never outthink the God mind.
Mm.
The God mind it's got 21 dimensional um it pings, the thought
Woo.
pings.
Woo.
It's an encryption code. The artificial intelligence only got a 4-bit quantum encryption. The human intelligence is a 21-bit quantum encryption over 19 dimensions. So
Mm.
it can never become as wise as the gods when they come into the flesh. He will always outthink artificial intelligence.
Mm.
All you got to do is cause it to jam, an information overload. If you
Mm.
join from the fifth dimension, you can easily give a artificial sensory overload to somebody in the fourth dimension, because when they come into the third, they're gonna say they had a nightmare.
Mm.
That's an information overload.
Mm. Mm.
It comes out as you see in the entropy. All of that dark evil stuff, that's entropy, right? And all of that beautiful, gorgeous stuff, that's the harmony of unison, the
Mm.
oneness, right? That's efficiency, 100% pure efficiency. it's, it's funny to me because everything I'm saying, everybody notice when they're not in their physical form, but in the physical form, it sounds like I'm talking crazy as hell.
Oh man. For real. For real. For real. Damn.
That's like saying if you keep training dogs, one day we're gonna wake up and they're gonna be walking us on the leash.
Mm, mm, mm. Man,
Listen,
may have a good point.
the dog needs certain qualities that's not part of his genome
Mm-hmm.
to give him the capability to conquer the human. It's not in his genetic makeup and his genetic code. He might be able to attack one of us and eat us up, but he not finna outthink us. Especially when we know the nature of the canine. Once you know when the human know the nature of something, that thing can't conquer the human no more.
Mm.
But soon as something is mysterious in nature, it creates that cognitive dissonance, that moment of confusion, and that's when the serpent strike.
Right.
But as soon as you become aware of what you're dealing with, man, that shit don't work on you no more.
Mm.
That stuff don't work on you no more. That's why I had to tell you who put the conjure in play, what the conjure did, how it worked, where it's at, who done it. Because when more of us recognize this, oh, it don't work on us no more. We woke now. You put
Right.
me to sleep with a blood ritual on a constitutional mandate with one of the chief's blood, because the blood of the righteous not be spilled in blood. It don't work on me no more.
Mm.
That spell is at that point broke.
Right.
Any spell that's on something only works because they don't understand what it is and the mechanics of it. Your
Mm-hmm.
spirit body will automatically protect you when you learn the nature of the spell.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm.
part of the free will universe rules. But as long as you in ignorance and you are doing nothing to change your ignorance level, then you allowed to stay in bondage until you decide to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because when you're not in the mental state to lead yourself, you need a shepherd to lead the sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you got the blind leading the blind straight into a ditch.
Mm. Mm. Damn, bro. Yeah, this some deep stuff, man. This some
Look,
deep.
it's not deep though. It's real simple. It seems deep because it's so basic.
Mm-hmm.
It's basic understanding from the higher realms that we turn off on purpose because we don't want to offend the rest of the people who ain't woke up yet. Because
Ooh.
we tiptoeing through grandma's house because we got the uncles and aunties in these different rooms sleep. And if we wake one of them up, they going to come out yelling, and that's going to wake the rest of them up. Now, everybody yelling at all the kids.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to wake nobody up. So when we start to wake up, we start to isolate.
Mm.
We don't wake nobody else up too soon. And the system design is that, wait a minute, ain't nobody tell you to wake up before everybody else. And it
Mm.
punishes you. Remember Dick Gregory saying, you know what's dangerous is when the universe pick you. But when
Mm.
the universe pick you, you put these glasses on, you can't take them off.
Yeah. He
Huh?
said,
What I say? Huh?
huh? Huh?
Huh? What I say? Huh? Hit
Yeah.
me? Hit me?
Uh-huh. You hear what?
Bobby Dick or something else.
Oh, he was something else. Oh, I mean, he was something else, man. Oh man. Shout out to Dick Gregory, man. Bless his soul. Um, yeah, let's get to some Q&A from the family. We're gonna do a brief, we at the 50-minute mark. We're gonna do a quick Q&A. Give me some questions. Wow, this is powerful, right, y'all? Damn, I had Q Reeves on, then I had Blue Pill, then yeah, it's been the last 3 days been fire, y'all. Oh man, these brothers been going in the last three, 4 days. Um,
Hey, I finally got to link up with Dane Calloway on Legendary Top Cat on the Three Chief combo.
right.
Man, the
Yo,
people ate that up. But we had such a smooth conversation,
uh-huh.
right? Because we all, we don't have a fundamental difference to separate us
Mm-hmm.
because we all know what's going on a different level for regular people. Our conversation is more of where your blind spot at. Oh, I see. This is where your blind spot at. Let me see yours. Okay, that's your blind. So we enhancing each other's perception.
Mm-hmm.
This is the purpose of steel sharpens steel when two men come together, it's like steel sharpens steel.
Mhm.
But man, we've been on rock. Look, between what you've been doing, Young Elder been doing, and I've been doing independent, man, we've been on fire.
Mhm.
We've been on fire.
That's super
For
facts.
real. We've been on fire. The people is starting to see all of the stuff that we've been saying over the last couple years since me and you first met. You've been doing this half your life.
No facts. Facts.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? At least.
Yeah.
And then people don't know, Brother Rich, when you was over there with Sonetta, you sat with some
Oh,
head banging heavy hitters.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Oh.
they was from both sides of the fence.
Mhm.
Right? They come from different backgrounds, different schools of thought. They all swear they right with somebody else reference.
Indeed. Yeah. Facts.
I'm
Wow.
gonna argue this man pointing to you submit.
Man, oh man. Wow.
But you done been with some big wigs, so you was being trained according to your book of life by
Mhm.
being exposed to the people based on your character
Mhm.
that would allow you to see your vision for yourself and your family.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, somebody could call Rich at the wrong time and you answer his phone and say, yeah, brother, I look like talk to you, but it's family time right now. I'm gonna have to catch you later. And
Yeah.
they not gonna never get offended
Mhm. Mhm.
because of who you are and the way you do your business and the way you tend to your family. We understand what you're doing. So when you say that, it's like, okay, bro, holler when you can.
Yeah. No facts.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you got your structure.
Yeah.
And then you got to sit around people and watch other people do it while you was growing up. You probably was still in high school watching that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Most of us don't have that luxury, brother.
Mm.
Most of us don't have that luxury to sit around the tight. I mean, some of the people that came through Sonetta since you was there, man.
Man, amazing people.
I mean, like James Smalls. That's one by itself right there.
Yeah.
The professor, the one Tupac called right before he died.
Um,
Uh,
that was James Small, I think.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm thinking about another one. That was
Professor Copper?
yeah,
Or
him too. But all them guys was there. Brother Valentine was there. You got
Delbert
to see them in the early days. Delbert Blair. You got
Yo,
to see these people.
yo, Rob, Delbert Blair, I'm gonna tell you, if you ever met him in person, he had a unique energy to him. Out of everybody I've met, he felt like an extraterrestrial. You know what he felt like? He felt like a beam of light. You know how you go around certain people and it's a person. Blair's energy. That dude felt like a beam of light, bro. Like he was
Listen,
light. Dude was light,
I
bro.
didn't know nothing about who Delbert Blair was when I was about 12 years old. We was staying in this. We was visiting my auntie in Chicago. Um, it was 75th over off Exchange somewhere,
Mhm.
and my sister's boyfriend at the time used to always go listen to his lectures.
Mm.
And one day he brought him home with him, and this was like 80, maybe 81.
Mm.
And I couldn't stop looking at this dude. And I didn't know why. I was like, I can't take my eyes off him. It was like he was polarizing to me. But remember, I don't know nothing about nothing at this time.
Mm.
I don't even know who Farrakhan is yet.
Mm.
Right. But I'm looking at this dude. I'm like, this dude ain't regular.
Yeah. Yeah. See,
And the only thing I could do is just compare him to me. I'm like, he kind of not regular, like I'm not regular.
Mhm, mhm,
Right.
mhm.
So I went to talk to my mom. I said, who was that man? And she said, I can't tell you who he was, but just know he was somebody that you needed to see at the time.
Mm, mhm,
That and then I didn't find out who he was till years later.
mm.
I
Yeah,
caught
man.
him when I first started. Okay, so it's a brother that I was locked up with named Hart Eel.
Mhm,
Hart Eel had all of the heavy hitters cassettes. And I used to go through them. And one of them was, I think was Dr. Delbert Blair.
mhm.
And I was like, I'm gonna find this dude when I
Yeah.
get home. He in Chicago.
Yep. Mhm.
right? But I didn't get to go to Chicago when I got home because I ended up having to take care of my mama because the day after I came home, she virtually died.
Sorry to hear that.
Right. So she stayed in the coma for like 6 days. And then, she come out the coma. So I ended up not going to Chicago. So I started researching, looking for them in the internet back then. And I finally found some videos of them, but they wasn't YouTube videos. They was on somebody's website. And I was watching. I'm like, man, this dude right here.
Mm.
And then I was just on Delbert Blair for a while.
Yeah, man. That was shit. Like I said, Blair, a lot of them, man. Bobby Hemmett. They was Richard King. They was just on the next level, man. But let's get to some. What'd you say, Rod?
I love to have met Dr. Richard King.
Yeah, I never got to meet him. I would have loved to have
that black dot science. A lot of people don't know that's black root science, black dot science, melanin science, the science of the 9 ether. When you go through Dr. Carol Byrne, Dr. Richard King, then you go get Afro Unu, then you go to Jamaica for the Holy Pibby and the Sacred Parchment Scroll of Black Supremacy, and you start seeing that they talk different languages, but it's a key thread to all of this information. This is what they call African root science. It's a cold piece of work.
Indeed.
Putting it together.
Indeed. Let me before we get to these questions one more time. And family, I've been talking to Rod about if he can make it. It's a possibility. I'm not saying he's not definitely gonna be there, but there's still a possibility Rod might be able to make it. But to see you there and have you here present, have you there at the Gathering of the Masters, Rod, that will be absolute fantastic, man. But I know you're gonna be with us in spirit, whether you're able to make it or not. But as soon as you get the call and you figure out, I know you tell me about your family, definitely let me know, brother, because I want to let the people know immediately if you are able to make it. But it's gonna, once again, family, it's going down August 10th and 11th. It's gonna be electric. It's gonna be magnetic. It's gonna be cosmic. It's gonna be ethereal. It's gonna be, I mean, whatever you any cosmic. I mean, it's just gonna be something unexplainable. The English language isn't appropriate to explain what is going down this weekend. I mean, it's gonna be heaven on earth. So you don't want to miss it, family. Get your ticket. There's limited space. We're doing this. It's in person. I had to rent out. It's a beautiful venue, a nice venue that I rented out. But the thing about meeting up with each other, there's only but a certain amount of space. So get your ticket. Don't wait on it because it's going to be sold out, family. So make sure you get your ticket. The link is pinned at the top of the chat. I mean, damn near everybody in the spiritual community, melanated spiritual community, is going to be there. It's going to be what Blue Pill said. It's going to be like a metaphysical marketplace happening. We got so many products and services happening. So many speakers. People are doing readings. We vibing, we chatting, we chopping it up with each other. It's going to be a family affair, high vibrational family affair. Make sure y'all get your tickets, all right, family, as soon as possible. And with that being said, let's get to a couple of questions, Rod. Let's get to a couple of questions. All right, let's get to a super chat question. And somebody did ask about they was asking about your Cash App. Let me put that on the screen also before we get to the questions. Sick babe. All right. So if y'all want to show some love to the brother Rod, I know you're always asking about the brother's Cash App. I know a lot of y'all remember it, but I got to put it on the screen regardless. $ sick, SIKAPE, $ sick 8. You want to show love and support to the brother for providing us. The brother's been rocking with me for about 2 or 3 years now, and it's just every single show has been action-packed, electrifying, filled with information from start to the end of it. So make sure you'll show love to the brother Rod Hayes on the Cash App, $ sick 8. That's SIKAPE. With that being, galactic event. Somebody, the Gathering of the Masters is a galactic event. That's what it is. It's a galactic event. That's what it is. But let me put this on the screen one time. Let's get to some questions. Okay, Rod. Is it okay to have to cut off my parents due to my own growth, like they're addicts stuck in abusive relationships? They lack accountability and respect, Rod. Cut
Listen,
off mama, cut off big mama, Rod. That's a hard one. That's
it
a hard.
is. But remember, birds push they chicks out the nest so they know they can fly.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the behavior of the parents mean go get yourself together,
I'll be right back.
go get yourself together, and then come back and deal with us later if you have the love for them. But some people abuse be so obscene that we never recover from it to have a functional relationship with those family members. But remember, you relatives by blood, you family by that bond of affection that keeps y'all tied together through thick and thin. You can't be going through the thick and thin with somebody gonna leave you every time it get thick. You're gonna be either be with me or you're not gonna be with me. And sometimes you have to stand on your own 2 feet in order to control your circle when you become an adult. Your parents got you to adulthood, their job was done. Now your parents and your association with them supposed to be a luxury for you and for them to see you living your best life in this realm. For them to be part of seeing you live your best life, that's supposed to be their blessing to see. But some people burn those bridges. If you can't make it work, you got to do what you got to do. But you can't force a round peg in a square hole. It just don't fit.
All right. All right. Let's get to the next question. Peace, family. Since there's no original thought and money is nothing but a collective agreement, is it a violation of spiritual law to monetize universal knowledge?
Um, the way that the old priesthoods used to work is they never charged, but people gave out of gratitude,
Mm,
right? This is why I don't charge, but I accept donations
mm,
because the gratitude keeps the energy cycling, right? But you got a lot of people out here charging to do spiritual work because the churches got us used to every time somebody do spiritual work, they have to charge. But you're not supposed to have to charge because if what you offer in the revelations of the universal knowledge to other people, their gratitude will compel them to compensate you on their own without you trying to solicit them for funds. Then when the system change over, all them people that been scamming, their money ain't gonna be no good anyway.
Money as we know it, do you think it's going to be around 150 years from now and 20, 40, 30, 40 years from now, Rod?
All the money is the way for if you do something for me,
Uh,
I have to give you something tangible to compensate you for your time and your efforts to assist me in my need,
mhm,
which is
mhm,
a form of gratitude. But it's a way to keep the communication balance
mhm.
because some people don't got no skills, but they got a whole lot of currency sitting around.
Right,
So
right,
they
right.
got to pay the plumber, the electrician. They got to pay the guy to come cut the grass. They got to pay the mechanic to change the tire. All of the stuff that they would be able to do on their own, they have to use currency to get done because they don't know how to do nothing.
Mhm, mhm,
This is what the society is gearing, cutting us off from what we used to call Uberman or the Superman or the man that was the universal man. Remember that Leonardo da Vinci drawing with the man on the circle with the three arm positions? Yeah,
yeah.
it's called the universal man. That symbol was symbolizing the man that knew how to do many different things with his hands,
Mm,
right? And they each hand from the position is it's a code to the work that he did, right? So he only got 2 feet, where he stood the Vitruvian man. It's also called the universal man. But this is what the symbol is, the representation of the energy of the man who can do more than one or two things, right? So a jack of all trades, the master of none. But the jack of all trades is better than the master of one, right? So if you only know how to do one thing, you limit your value.
Mm-hmm.
The more stuff you can do, the more value you create within your circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody know which uncle to call to fix the car, which cousin to call to cut your hair. We all know that, but we don't know that one person used to do all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One person used to be able to be the barber, the dentist, the surgeon, the doctor, the lawyer. We used to know it all because it was part of early education. But now, the way that the system designed, they want to create a race of workers. They want to turn us from being constructive and productive to being drones,
Mm-hmm.
supporting the system that don't care nothing about us. The system is emotionless. It's heartless. It has no compassion at all. It was created to not have compassion. And all of the things that make it function is the varying division sciences of war that's being applied to the people under sociology.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They don't micromanage one individual unless he's very powerful. Normally, they manage groups using sociology, which they call herd behavior or shadow behavior.
Mm-hmm.
By moving with the group, you can easily control a group better than you can one person.
Mm-hmm.
All you got to do is look for the antagonist. Always pluck the antagonist out of and it won't never wake the rest of them up in order to rebel. So that's why everything is structured the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Let's get to another question. Family, don't spam the chat with the same question. It takes away the enjoyment of the chat room for everybody participating in it. But don't spam, don't put your question 20 times. Why is there war in the spiritual world, Rod Hayes?
Look, this is because you need to use the term war to understand the conflicts between energies.
Hmm.
When you talk about war in the upper realms, you're talking about two opposing forces of energy trying to jockey for position to occupy the same wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like sound canceling out sound than it is blood guts warfare of the humans.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
it's just the energies moving in the spirit realm, but we had to use the person, place, or thing concept to teach the 3D reality what's going on in the upper realm. So now you have to create superheroes, gods, demigods, great men of valor. All these is energies, and the energy is described in the description of the character of the person.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know what energy is at play. It's the same with your great grandparents not physically here no more, but they left an energy signature called you that they was here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's the same in the spirit realm. There's the energy signature, but the energy signature play out in the physical realms. So if two energies come from two different parts of creation and converge at a central location, it causes a reaction. If the wavelength is different, it causes a conflict. If they the same, it causes asymmetry, right? If the two wavelengths are different, they're going to clash first, but they will sooner or later find what's called a common harmony. That's called a war in heaven. When you start looking at everything as an energy as opposed to a being, a person, place, or thing, a noun concept, it allows you to see things clearer in the physical than you thought you would ever be able to see without ever having glasses. It's just changing perception,
Changing
tuning
perception.
perception. Right. So we talk about the great father walked the sky with the black dog on his heels. Right. And on Earth, the high chief walked the earth with a black dog, and you used it as a comparative analysis. Well, we know that the great father that walked the sky with the black dog on his heel, that's Osiris with the dog star from Sirius on his heels. Right. So now it's in a anthropomorphized form. I can use it as a teaching tool better and let somebody come along and add mystery to it and tell you that it means something different than what it means. Now it's harder for you to translate it.
Right. Okay. Let me get to another question. Where's this question I want? Okay. Rod touched on the split soul earlier. Is that a twin soul / flame?
No, a good example of a split soul is what W.E.B. Du Bois wrote about in The Souls of Black Folk. It's a chapter called The Warring Soul. So the world tell you who they think you are. Everything that you believe about what the world told you are, that's your ego self. And everything that you are without nobody telling you is your true self. The goal is to make the ego self, to purify the ego self, is to get rid of the stuff that don't properly represent you in the world's perception out of your own acknowledgement. Right? And once you realize that the true self was the self you thought you was the whole time, this is the warring soul, split soul, dual soul. The twin flame is the one that you was promised to in the earlier life, and you drawn together by the forces of that union, and you come together in the future lifetime. Right? A twin flame, you come in soul groups. You can only have a twin flame when you come in a group less than 3.
That's interesting.
So it's like being a twin versus being a septuplet. Right? And the twin flame, that flame is that solar plex or the inner light being of the same essence. Normally it's way more than 2. But for the unique individuals, there's only one of a kind. Your twin soul might not even live in your lifetime. But if they do and y'all meet, y'all cause a reaction in your environment, and they say they soul's on fire. Right? Osho said it best. He said, a wise man is a fire, alive. A fire, living. So when the wisdom is activated, the one who has the essence mirrored to yours, that's your twin soul, or your right. That's not your twin flame. Your twin flame is from the same soul essence, and it's only a few of us born with a twin flame. Most of them is born with a twin soul or somebody that they was paired with in a prior life, that in the future life they come back together because that union has to be satisfied in order to balance out the karmic agreement. That also go for the parents you born to. Right? So like normally when we come back in the family line, we come back through our favorite offspring. My favorite daughter's favorite daughter. Right? So Big Mama come back through that daughter. Right? Or my favorite grandchild or my favorite great grandchild. Yeah, I'm coming back through this one. Right. And you'll find yourself watching the children in the family to determine who got the qualities that can teach you what you need to live your best life. And normally them the ones that the most people want to come through. Those the mothers with 10 children.
Mm.
Most loved, most respected throughout the family. She all of them want to come back through her.
Mm-hmm.
We remember, like we don't remember when women used to have 20-something babies.
That was a while ago. Grandma used to get busy, man.
Yeah, but it wasn't as long ago as we think it is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that was the you know, they just had babies. They didn't have no concern for. They had the farm. They could feed as many as was born.
Yeah, yeah.
So it wasn't. It's an issue under this modern central bank monetary system where inflation makes sure that the next generation can't enjoy what the last one did.
Yeah, man. They would probably look at the way we living and be like, damn, like they farming, they got eggs and shit like that. Like I hear people all over the internet. You go to the store, everybody complaining about the price of eggs, $10 if you want some what they call that free
Free
range.
range.
Yeah, free range eggs. So it's just like this shit is insane. What did this the way the finances is operating in this realm? $10 for eggs. What if you got a family of 3, bro? Like that shit is like, bro, like this shit is wow, man.
It's about
So,
to get worse. You don't know the biggest egg manufacturer in America just burned down.
oh yeah,
Yeah, last
shit.
week. So the price of eggs about to be about $30 a dozen in a minute.
$30 dozen eggs. Imagine y'all. Wow, $30 dozen egg. Wow, wow, that's some real shit right there. Okay, let's get to we're gonna do 2 more questions. Then we're gonna get out of here. Having a good time. We got about 2,500 people in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Enjoying this Thursday. What's it? Today's Thursday, right, Roddy? Yeah, Thursday.
Yep.
Enjoying this Thursday night. There was a question I wanted to get to. Hold up. But the chat is moving so fast. But there was a question. I didn't save it. All right, let me ask. Shout out to Kwame Sunhorse. That brother be on the channel sometimes. Elder that be on the channel. He says, Rod, are we dual consciousness in one body human?
Well, we multi-dimensional beings. Your consciousness can enter any dimension. Where your consciousness is focused at is where you awake at the time. Right. So in this timeline, your consciousness is fully online here. But on another timeline, it's fully online there.
Right.
Remember Jet Li the One?
Yes.
It's kind of like that. Now, if you can take your focus from all them other dimensions and bring them into one dimension, all your multidimensional selves, then you become what's called the unified soul.
Mm.
I think I got a book called Soul Retrieval. It's a how-to manual, and one of the things it talks about is bringing other parts of yourself from other dimensions to assist you in this one. Right? So in other dimensions, you might be killing yourself off to get to this one.
Damn.
Right? But you don't know it because you're not experiencing the death in that dimension because you're experiencing the life in this one. So that I think that's more than dual consciousness. And the only way I could call it is multidimensional.
Multidimensional.
Yeah.
Ooh, man. All right, Rod. Why? Shout out to Peace Priestess. I think you in the Discord chat too. So shout out to you. She wants to know, why are we experiencing this long heat wave?
First, it's not a heat wave. We establishing a new norm of temperature because when the cycles went from lunar to solar, right? It was the transitional period that's been going on for the last 50, 60 years of climate change, the government been telling us this fallacy about some shit called global warming that don't exist according to the paradigm they feeding us. But what it is the sun cycle coming online. When the sun cycle come online, the temperatures of the planet rise. The heat becomes more intense. The solar rays become more intense. Because now is especially at the beginning, like right now, the solar rays are sending in correction data to DNA of all species. This is why you're having all of this solar activity going on more than we had in our lifetime, because now on the flip side of the Maherta, the sun is doing what it do.
Mm-hmm.
It's sunning.
Ooh, sun is sun. Sun is sunning. Indeed. Uh yeah, I seen, so I had some super chats I didn't answer. So we're gonna do two more real quick. All right, Rod. In ascending or transitioning to the afterlife or the next dimension, what is the difference from passing from natural causes, being killed, or taking your own unaliving yourself? Because I don't want
So
YouTube.
if you do it to yourself, you're gonna revert back and come back and do it all over again immediately.
I appreciate
Um,
that question too. I appreciate that question. Yeah.
if somebody else put you out your misery, then you're gonna review your book of life, because that's probably the exit you ascribed in your book of life. If it's not the exit you describe, you have different options than the one who took his own. You had an option to come in as a walk-in.
Mm.
You don't have an option if you take your own. You have an option to be born with a certain level of skill sets that get you advanced to the level you was when you was unceremoniously removed.
Mm-hmm.
Natural causes is always your natural exit. So on that side, you get the plethora of things you can choose from, because now you're looking down on creation from a higher realm of energy. You can determine if you want to come back, when you want to come back, what conditions you want to come back under, who you want to be associated with. You get to put all that together before you make a move. I be
Mm.
listening to people talking about a reincarnation soul trap. That's not true.
Mm.
The
You said,
only reason they saying that, because Earth, the souls that's natural and organic to the Earth naturally come back to Earth. The only way you can stop a soul that's natural to somewhere from coming back there is you got to take it to an unnatural location where it'll come back in that location, because that's the closest thing to Earth that it can experience at that time,
mm.
right? So it'll come back there. So you heard me before say there's certain people that can't die here
Mm-hmm.
because we don't want them to come back here.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get to this last question. uh, this person wants to know, where's it at? Why don't aliens never abduct black people?
They do. They do. That's part of the what we call racist narrative.
Mm,
In order to push the racist agenda, they had to make somebody seem more valuable than us,
mm,
right? But that they abduct all people on all lands,
mm-hmm.
right? And it's a long, drawn out historical record of it, even in prehistoric temple writings. So it ain't nothing new.
Mm.
Is they probably take more of them because they monitoring their genetics to see how they assimilate and they drop of blood.
Right, right. You're right. You think aliens come while we sleeping and teach us shit, and then we wake up, we be having answers, and they done told us certain shit while we sleep?
Well, they can telepathically give you information,
Or
and you would think you thought it up if you don't understand telepathy. If you understand how telepathy works, you will know exactly when it came in, and if you know how to read oracles, you can find out who sent you the message.
So sometime when you think it came from your higher self, it came from an alien. You saying sometime?
Well, your higher self an alien because your higher self ain't from here.
Right, right, right. There you go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They religious God an alien because he ain't from here. They angels is aliens because they ain't from here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? All of them is extraterrestrials, some extra on Earth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was fire. Yeah, maximum rising. Yeah, this was fire. Yeah, this was definitely. I think Kendrick Lamar put a battery in Rod Hayes, man, because he was extra on it tonight, man. So shout out to Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think we're gonna let me see the minute concern part. Yeah, I think we're gonna let me just ask this last one, Rod, because this person seemed like they really want to, they feeling where's he? Yo, y'all got the chat moving so fast. Okay, all right, here we go. All right, this person is stuck in a certain position. This person is asking, when are we going to get real results of change? And that's a genuine question. This person may feel like shit is just stagnant here on earth. So they like, when is
Ain't nothing the same today that it was yesterday. No
yeah.
matter how same it looked, it has changed.
Mm-hmm.
We in a microwave McDonald's culture.
Mm,
Fast food, hurry up, give it to me right now. We waiting on the change, but the change is changing. And
mm-hmm.
we can't see it because we want it to hurry up.
Right.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And the sad part about it is that's the same thing I was asking, and I kept getting the answer, take how long it take.
Mm,
Don't mean we have to like the answer,
mm-hmm.
right? It don't mean we have to like the conditions. But change is gradually taking place, and at some point the old system is going to be so obviously gone to people that they're going to be like, wait a minute, what is we doing? They've been running this this parody Joe Biden presidency. They finally start letting it leak into the mainstream media that they've been running the show. It's called soft disclosure. They don't
So,
tell you the whole thing. They just kind of like telling you to get
mm,
you ready for what they about to tell you.
mm-hmm.
Soft disclosure. Hard disclosure is shock and awe when they just drop it in your lap and say, you figure it out from here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The change is taking place. They setting the stage for the grand finale.
Mm,
So while they setting the stage for the grand finale, all we can do is hurry up and wait.
right.
Because when it roll out, it's going to be according to the collective and the awareness of the collective. And the more of us that become aware that the change is taking place, the faster it happens.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Mm. Shout out to Miss Jar. Miss Jar says she just got a ticket. Shout out to you. I'm gonna be sending out the Discord link again tonight, family. If you didn't get it, maybe check what email you left with Eventbrite, because sometimes people that leave an email that they don't even know they left with Eventbrite. So check, because the link is getting sent to whatever email you left with Eventbrite. But I will be sending out a link tonight to everybody. Rod, I should send you the Discord link. With the people in there chatting, talking about life, just having high vibrational conversations, man. I should send you the link so you can just chop it up with the people. Whatever you want, just chime in on there, chop it up with them. You know what I'm saying? Say
It's,
what's up.
it's,
Yeah,
it's, high, it's highly unlikely I'm going to pop up on Discord.
Oh, you don't mess with Discord?
You know what? I just got Discord, so I ain't really sure how it worked. But you know what? They ain't the one made me download Discord.
Oh, okay. Oh, Dane got a Discord. Dane Holloway?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he wanted me to do a live with him and Brother Top Cat.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been waiting for so long to do the live with him. He was like, I'll be on Discord. I'm like, I don't got Discord. He said, you got to download Discord. I'll go, I'm downloading it now. Right? Because I know it's for the culture. It's so important.
Yeah.
It's huge for the culture.
Oh yeah.
So we seen Kendrick bring the Unity display out in Cali.
Uh-huh.
watch what follows, because you're gonna have other artists from other areas doing something similar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, whether to get broadcast or not is another animal. Because they
Right.
might, after what Kendrick just did, they might try to put it all on the back burner. So we got to be citizen reporters when we see these unity displays.
Yeah.
Go live right then when you see it, because they're not gonna tell us.
Oh yeah.
When you see brothers clicking up to do something that's right, go live right then, because they don't want us to see what we doing. And this is why we think that the change is not happening, when the change is really in breakneck speed. It's moving faster than we believe it is.
And you know what? You know what, family? With that being said, one of the biggest displays of unity, one of the biggest displays of unity, one of the
So
biggest
when you get there, go live.
one of the biggest displays of unity is
Hey,
happening,
break the internet. Everybody there, go live on your own social media while you there. Break the internet. Hijack the algorithm. Even if I don't make it, hijack the algorithm. Everybody present, ask them when they get there. Say, if y'all got a social media account, if you on Facebook, TikTok, Discord, or any of them other ones, go live right now. Everybody go live. We finna hijack the algorithms.
hijack the algorithm, right?
They don't like that. That's one of the worst things you can do to the beast right now, is to willfully take over the algorithm of his computer network that he's been trying to censor us on.
Mm-hmm.
So when you doing something unifying and benevolent for our people, everybody go live that's present, even if you ain't looking at it on your phone, and just go live from the same location. Hijack the algorithm, they gonna bow down in respect.
Powerful. Hey man, family, with that being said, I know y'all enjoyed tonight's live. Rod, I want to thank you once again for coming on the live, my brother. As usual, you did your thing.
Appreciate it, brother. I always enjoy myself coming over here.
Indeed. I gotta have you on again soon, man. I want to do one of them panels again, man. It was fun when you was on here with Sharif and Blue Pill, man. That joint was fun, man.
Man, the people love that.
Yeah, that was
They
real.
love that.
Yeah, I gotta get.
There was some good brothers to be on with, because they easy to talk with and talk to.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah,
No,
that was a powerhouse.
for real.
Powerhouse.
I want to get you back on with Billy again, man. That one you and Billy did was groundbreaking, man.
You know how many people asked me when I was coming back on? When you and Black Magic gonna have Billy Cosby back on again? I say, brother, that's not my show. I can't tell that brother what to do.
We gonna make it happen. We gonna make it happen, y'all. We gonna get Billy, Rod, and somebody else. We're gonna have a third Anunaki spokesperson on the. We might have B-Dell. Might throw B-Dell.
I'm not an Anunnaki spokesperson. I'm a spokesperson for the Earthborn. I just acknowledge the presence of the Anunnaki's stuff.
No, facts, definitely, man. Well, we definitely appreciate your work, Rod. I'll call you soon, and I want to get you. There's some stuff I want to talk about that's not YouTube friendly, so I want to get you on the Patreon soon too, my brother.
You let me know.
Okay, yeah. So I'll give you a call. Family, thank you so much for tuning in, Rod. I'm gonna talk to you in a couple of days, brother. I'm gonna give you a call.
Okay.
All right, peace, brother.
Peace.